Pitch looks flat now. Half stop by Hazlewood. Plenty of batters to come as well. Brooks, Stokes, Bairstow, Woakes and Wood would add himself to that list of batters after what happened at Headingley. They all play their shots. How would you be going about it if you're England? With the weather forecast being the way it is, traditionally you'd look to get a lead and try and make it a 3 innings game. Or would you think of pulling out earlier?
I think England will decide to declare at some point tomorrow. Force Australia perhaps to have 250 runs ahead. Declare maybe a little bit more if they can get there quickly. And then say if you get 400, we'll chase the other 200 down. About 45 to 50 overs, time permitting. And weather permitting. The forecast doesn't seem ideal tomorrow either, by the looks of it, Nasser.
Yeah, that's the other thing to bear in mind. If there are any showers tomorrow and they're losing time tomorrow, Stokes might just say we're wasting time. We're going to have to bowl you out at some stage. We're going to have to get 10 wickets at some stage. Sooner the better. We shall see.
Also in terms of the fatigue for the Australian bowlers, might not seem that long to bowl for a day, but when you're getting constantly pounded, just adds to the physicality of it. Got to try a little bit harder. Not as many overs perhaps, but the effort would be at an all-time high to try and break through.
Just wants Cameron Green to drop on that reverse scoop, so that should take the reverse scoop out of the equation for Root, but he can just drop it on the offside if he wants. Another no ball. Hazlewood and Cummins have struggled. Down the pitch, works the leg, finds mid-wicket. 278 for 2.
Take on for James and Mitchell Starc.
Has to go back to Mitchell Starc. 2 for 50. He's the man with both the wickets. 11 lifesavers in the tank. I work out the field often suggests what the bowling is going to be like. Length.
Haven't got much choice, have they, the Australians? Just peg away, be patient, hopefully the batter will make a mistake. No matter how much you change the field, the batter is right now in total control.
There's not many places he could have played that and got back for two. I think he has just got back, even with an excellent bit of fielding. They're going to have a look, but I think Crawley's safe there.
Side on replay, please. Umpire review for an out. Show me the best side on replay, please. Nice and slow. He's grounded. He's grounded. I'm satisfied. I made my decision on the big screen.
Yeah, safely home, Zak Crawley. Good bit of fielding from Marnus Labuschagne, who's an excellent fielder. Shot. Stunning cover drive.
He's been trying this all throughout his innings, not always with perfect contact. Scored over 66 to 68% of his runs on the leg side. And this is why Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes always say that Zak Crawley is special. Foot down the ground, driving on the up, high pace, he doesn't care. Absolutely smacks it past mid-off.
And again they come back for two. Good running. Could be an overthrow. No, Crawley's gone too far. Down the ground, through mid-off, straight mid-off this time. Crawley has played some beautiful drives in the last half hour.
The closed face, and you were talking about Nasser, and your dissection of his batting technique through the offside really helping him now. Scar, a little too full, close bat face, but just the power form that he's in. The way he's seeing the ball, all contributing to a wonderful shot played down the ground.
Excellent from Crawley, 290 for two. I think they got it the wrong way round. Australia early on, when they should have bowled a channel and a full length to Crawley, they bowled straight when he was moving around early, and now that there's no movement, they're bowling full and off stump. Got it the wrong way round, their plans to Crawley. Too late.
doesn't really matter. Stark tried hard, didn't he, at the start with a wobble seam to cut it across him. Didn't work. Swished at it, missed a few. The right armers have been all over the place. It's Mitchell Stark in the last delivery. And he just pulls up short. That left hamstring. He had a dive on the field on the boundary. Hurt him then, and he's feeling it now. It's the last thing you want as the Australian captain, to see one of your fast bowlers, your premier fast bowler, just looking as if he's got a niggle.
It was always going to be the case. There was the fielding earlier when he went down and he felt his leg. Always going to be the case with Australia playing that World Test Championship game. They were going to be better prepared for the first test than England, as it showed. But obviously to play 6 on the bounce, and some of these lads would have played 4 or 5 or even 6 in Cummins' case, and no Lyon. The longer England stay in the series, the more Australia fall apart physically. That's why the next couple of days are going to be so crucial. Get to the Oval 2-all. No Lyon. Stark with an injury. Cummins playing 6 on the bounce. We shall see.
I just have a feeling if England win this and they go on to convert this, I think the Ashes swings firmly 3-2 to England.
Down the pitch. Oh, run out chance at the keeper's end. Carey does well, but Root gets back.
That's the kind of luck that Australia needs, but it evades them on this occasion. You need the batters to make a mistake, a false shot, or in this case a run out. But Root.
Incoming batter, Harry Brook.
So Harry Brook walks out to join his Yorkshire and England teammate Joe Root. He walks out in a damn good position England find themselves in. There's a 336 for 3. Played magnificently. Softer ball, stayed down a wee bit. He was expecting a short one, and all he could do was under-edge it back onto the stumps. But he got congratulated to by the Australian players, and a terrific ovation here at Emirates Old Trafford.
Really good, that, wasn't it, from Australia's players, just the recognising what was a special innings. You don't go up and congratulate everybody every time they get out having got 100, but there was something special about that innings, and they recognised it to a man, and all of them virtually congratulated him on the way out. 189 from 182, what an innings that was. Now then, Harry.
Does he need a licence?
Not usually.
Well, Green continues round the wicket with a very similar field to which they placed for Zach Crawley, save for mid-on, going a little wider and deeper. Is actually probably more deep straight mid-wicket. Anyway, Brooks' first ball. .336 for 3.
Whether Rod Marsh and Dennis Lillee went up to congratulate Beefy in 81. What do you reckon?
No, but they might have had a few scoops with him afterwards.
I bet they did. Great competitors, all of them.
Hazelwood is going to have a crack from the James Anderson end. What a defensive field, as you would expect, to be set by Pat Cummins for Joe Root, who's 76 not out. They'll be trying to bowl as much as they can, you would think, at least to start with, to Harry Brook. No catches save for the keeper behind the stumps.
Yeah, you don't know. Harry Brook may put his foot down as well. He's not a slouch, is he, out in the middle? But you get a wicket, at least you feel as a captain it gives you an opportunity to just manoeuvre the game a little bit. Get Root off strike, get Brook on strike, try and keep him on strike, and just build a bit of pressure in the way that Australia simply haven't been able to do with Crawley at the crease.
Well, they now do have Harry Brook on strike. I suppose even he, who likes to play his shots, will have to just get a little feel for this pitch and this ball. As we mentioned, it sounds a little soft.
Well, I felt at Headingley that he slightly changed his approach from Lords, that he recognised that he'd almost gone over the top at Lords and put too much risk into his game. Just dialed it back at Headingley and looked a better player for it, in my view. Played that excellent innings in the second innings. Big part of England's victory there. Of course, he's, as you say, got a bit of a licence here, but still give himself a moment to get himself in and have a look and get a feel for things.
Well, 2 slip catches in for Brook. What impressed you most with that Zach Crawley innings, would you say? Just the way he kept staying true to the aggressive nature, because he didn't nail everything in the first part of his innings.
I actually think that Australia's setting, I felt this all series, because he's played well all series actually, I felt that Australia setting the field back to him has actually almost helped him. He's just been, rather than seeking boundaries necessarily early on, he's just been able to play it into the gaps and pick up singles. If you recall that half century, as Brook will scamper home, if you recall that half century at Edgbaston, the very first one of the series, I think there were 20 odd singles in that first 50, and I felt that his game's been quite composed at the start. The acceleration came after lunch today, didn't it? But the initial early stages is where he's been impressive in this series. He's looked quite calm and composed. And obviously we know that he's got all those shots that we saw when that acceleration came after lunch. I just wonder whether those deep set fields have played to his advantage.
I would say that's outside the line.
Pat Cummins indicating that he thought he was outside the line, and I suspect he's right. Even though Root then bent his knee a bit more after the ball hit the pad, I think it hit him outside the line of the off stump.
.338 for 3.
That Labuschagne's not had a go actually, just to bowl some leg spin, right-handers in, bit of rough there outside the leg stump.
I was desperate for him to bowl some off spin, because Ricky Ponting would have had a conniption over there at the other side of the commentary box had he done so.
I've seen him bowl wrist spin, and not the worst. And here at this ground, you get a bit of bounce. Wrist spin tends to go well. Matt Parkinson's done well here for many years. Obviously, the Warne ball that we talked about 30 years ago, worth an over or two, surely.
Steve Smith?
Yeah, but who's the better leg spinner now? Probably Labuschagne. Well, anyway, one of them.
Well, it would have been just something different to try, because England at that point with Crawley and Root were dominating so completely round the wicket into the rough. See if they want to sweep out of it. Something different.
He got a wicket here, didn't he, 4 years ago? He got Leach towards the end of that game.
There it was. Bounce and turn. Where have you been, Marnus?
Yeah, really kicked out of the rough, didn't it? And that was fourth day or fifth day, whenever it was. This is only second. But they almost turned to Labuschagne in a desperate measure then. Leach had been batting for an hour. I think he's worth an over or two at some stage.
I think also when it was obvious they were going to target Travis Head as well. That's coming into Crawley and Root. Try something going away. I think that's a fair call. Not called upon though by Australia. Root slaps that out into the deep. So a sedate over, but 5 runs from it. 343 for 3.
Zach Crawley there, terrific innings that was. 189 off 182 deliveries. Set England in, well, magnificent place, there's no doubt about that. Harry Brook, no. Chase Hazlewood. Not a bad replacement. Harry Brook for Zach Crawley. We saw what he could do at Headingley only a week or so ago at 75 in the second innings and steered England over the line in that match. Played very well. Obviously a very important innings for Zach Crawley, because he's been the one guy in this sort of new era of English cricket who really hasn't nailed his spot down. Just 100 in the 16 test matches since the McCullum-Stokes partnership. That one now cements him in the side for a while, and he'll only get better now that he's more comfortable.
Well, the cynical might say that he was going to play anyway, regardless of what happened. But that 100 you're talking about, as Josh Hazlewood oversteps again, he's querying that call. But the one innings, the 100 that he did make under Ben Stokes was the fastest 100 by an opening batter in Islamabad in that extraordinary Test match win in Rawalpindi. Pindi, Islamabad. Tomato. And in this series, he's looked as good as he has done in any that he's played for England.
Oh, that's kept low, that. It's come back, but it's also kept a bit low. Oh, there's no doubt what he's done is it's the first time the Australians have looked rattled. Now, obviously, they didn't win the last Test match, but they didn't really look rattled at any stage, Australia. Yes, they didn't really make enough runs with the bat. which I think was the reason they didn't win that last Test match. But
yeah, they got a bit unlucky, didn't they, with the rain day and that 2-hour period at the back end of the day where they got caught under the lights, etc.
yeah, that's exactly right. That certainly didn't help. Nice, well bowled. Look for two here, Joe Root, and he will get it. He's run very well. Yeah, but even in that, the two times that Australia bowled at him, they never really got away from them. This sort of Baz ball, if that's the right way to call it, it hasn't really worried him. Today it did, because there's things they haven't done today. And I just heard Wardy and Mike Atherton talking about it. We haven't seen Labuschagne, we haven't seen Smith. We've seen Australia go from one tactic, which was line and length, to short balls, and nothing in between. So I think Australia have become very predictable today, because I think it has rattled them a bit today.
Would you say that the selection hasn't helped in that either, in terms of going for an all-seam-based attack? They had no variety to turn to when things were going wrong. I also think that at the back end of the second half of England's run chase at Headingley, that there were signs of this. That no matter what the circumstances or who was at the crease, the field was set back and England were able to score at will without actually taking a great deal of risk. So it kind of started to eke into things towards the back end of the Test match at Leeds. Today they've been very poor indeed. Which is not to take anything away from the way that Zach Crawley and Joe Root have played today. They've been quite magnificent. Controlled aggression, taken advantage of every opportunity to score that they could. And England now are in the box seats. The game is very much in their control. Cricket matches, Test match cricket matches, don't move forward any faster than when England are batting. So this is a great time for them to have control of the game.
Yes, and a no call, but it was a quick no call from Harry Brook. 3-4-7 for 3. 189. I wonder if he's got a smile on his face. Well, they're sort of hoping he'd get to 200, to be totally honest. There you go. He's now the leading run scorer in the series. He's gone from sort of midfield to the top.
Yeah, it sort of backs up the feeling about the way that he's played in the series. He's made contributions throughout against the new ball. He and Ben Duckett have both been pretty solid at the top for England. He's now put the icing on the cake with that huge score. There's another cheeky stat has just appeared about Zach Crawley, and that at grounds with a certain hotel brand in them, he averages 81. And anywhere that doesn't have one of those hotels on site, it's 30.
Yeah, I think it's a good point you make about the tactics. I was talking about Australia being predictable, and as you say, so far in this series, this short ball stuff has worked. Well, to a certain extent, it's worked. It stemmed the flow of runs at Lords when England were 1 for 188 in their first innings, and all of a sudden they were well placed. They weren't dominating the game because Australia had made 416, but they were well placed. And then all of a sudden, the short ball theory worked. There was three batsmen fell. Harry Brook, Joe Root was another one. All fell trying to play the pull and hook shot. But on a better pitch where there's a bit more consistent bounce, you just go for more and more runs. That's what's happened today. And I think Australia have just got sort of stuck in this idea that you have to bowl everything there. I don't mind having two guys back for a hook and maybe sometimes a 20-minute, half an hour stint of short stuff to unsettle a batsman. But sooner or later, you've got to change that tactic and mix up a little bit. And I think Australia are a bit slow to do that today.
I suppose the question now comes, and I've had one or two text messages and WhatsApps flying into my phone about what do England do from here. Obviously we saw Ben Stokes declare early, first innings of the series back at Edgbaston. People are saying, should they declare, pull out now, have a bowl? My feeling is you keep going the rate they're scoring at.
Oh, that's nicely played. Beautifully placed, as much as anything. Labuschagne will do well and save a run, but it was a lovely shot, that. Just leant on that. Tried to hit it too hard, it just placed it nicely.
Again, an indication of just how good a pitch this is at the moment. As the 350 comes up for England in the 61st over. That's why I keep going. Maybe keep going. Try to get 200 on, 250 on if you can do it fast enough, and leave yourself in a position where you might not need to have to bat again. I get the sense that not only have Australia been rattled, but the way that the crowd has become involved in this series ever since the events at Lord's, and the fact that virtually every move that Australia makes is booed or jeered or clapped or whatever it might be. It just feels to me that the swell of the tidal wave of emotion behind England and against Australia at the moment might well be enough to push England over the line on this one.
Surely we're due for 2 or 3 days of rain, aren't we, up here? 351 for 3.
I mean, and even with that being so, I mean, the forecast for Saturday is appalling, but it's pretty good Sunday, pretty good tomorrow. And as I've said, the game moves fastest when England are scoring runs. So at the moment, while they're flying, keep scoring and get as many as you think you're going to need, perhaps, to win the game without having to bat again, and then unleash the dogs. And you'll have periods of time over the next few days, if the weather does do what they say it's going to do, where you'll be bowling with the lights on, there'll be clouds in, the pitch will have been spiced up a bit by moisture from the air. All of those things will very much be in England's favour.
It's 34 is the lead at the moment for England. Oh, it's right through. It's kept a bit low, that. It's gone right through Joe Root. And it's very good news, I suppose, from Australia. They've got a wicket, but they won't want to see too much of that because they're behind in the game.
Yeah, I reckon that might be the third time I've seen the ball scuttle a little bit from back of the leg, hard into the ground. Oh, and did it scuttle? It's almost a Nasser Hussain special, that one, a double bouncer. Joe Root looks pretty nonplussed. Nothing you could do about that, Joseph. 84 from 95 from Root. It has been a splendid innings from England's former captain and best player. And despite being from across the Pennines, they have loved every second of it here in Manchester. 3-5-1 for 4.
So Ben Stokes, the England captain, made his way out in the middle. One of the rarer times he's coming out, his side's way in front of the game. I've seen him bat superbly on a number of occasions, but particularly when England are struggling. And it's not the case today. They're playing well, and he can now play with more freedom, which we see him play often towards the end of his innings, but he could probably play with a lot more freedom early on today.
He's a situational player, isn't he, Ben Stokes? The situation for him here is that the whole series depends on England getting it right in this game, and perhaps that'll be enough to get the juices flowing for him to do something special as well.
There's no doubt that kept, well, a lot lower than Joe Root we all thought. It's only day 2. Your pitch has been very good. And that one skidded, hit around about where our stump cam is. It's nigh on impossible to play that. You're expecting that to bounce about, well, I would say knee height at least, maybe thigh height, and it hits about a third of the way up the stumps. Outside edge, but it's away, down to third man, so Stokes is away. We'll get 2. Just a quick shout out to Jack Madden, who's at the ground today. We've received a tweet, or Mike Atherton's received a tweet today. He was at the ground in 1981 here at Old Trafford when Ian Botham made his 86-ball century back in 1981. So he's seen Ian Botham, and now he's seen Zach Crawley. 2 great innings at this ground. G'day to Jack. 91 years old, Jack Madden. I'm sure he's enjoying the game. So well done to him. An East Lancs member, or Lancashire Cricket Club member, a lifetime member, I believe. So well done to you. You've seen 2 of the great innings here at Old Trafford.
He'll also have had to watch Michael Atherton back throughout all of his career as well.
And he's come back. He's patient, isn't he? Oh, that's a nasty one. Hazelwood round the wicket, and that surprised the England captain, that.
It's the value of a surprise short ball, isn't it? Ben Stokes was diving forward, really. Batting out of his crease, looking to get forward. And if you make the short ball something that happens once in a while, you can get that sort of reaction from a batter.
And now it drives. Got the length ball, put it away behind point. Stokes on the move. England now lead by 40, 3-5-7 for 4. Lovely shot, lovely balance. Stokes doesn't need to hit the ball very hard. He's a strong man. Use a bit of pace, just time the ball, races away. Looking at that short ball, Josh Hazlewood, I was saying earlier, it's something I'd like to see Australia do early on to someone like Zach Crawley. To me, Australia have either gone length or they've gone short, and they haven't mixed it up enough. That surprised Ben Stokes, as a short ball often does. And I felt early on that Zach Crawley, they did play and miss a few, got a couple of inside edges to drives that just missed the stumps. But Australia were either there, or then when they started to get a few runs, they went short. I'd be going at some of these England batsmen with some short stuff, but not persisting with it. A couple of short ones early on and then go full. That was better bowling from Hazlewood. It hit for 4, but that to me is more typical type test match bowling.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're describing just regular test match cricket there, aren't you? Try and find the channel, get the ball in